everyone, and welcome to the Kingdom Keepers podcast. I am your host, Liz, and with me today I have Kenzie
Hello.
and Taryn.
Hi.
Today we are going to discuss this and that discussion questions. But first, we're going to go around and give some updates on our lives and our Carousel of Progress and discuss some Disney news of the week. Anyone have any exciting updates they want to share?
So my mom is coming down this week. Actually, she comes down tonight at the time of this recording. So that'll be fun. I'm taking her to Epcot on Friday, and hopefully we will get to ride Guardians because she's never rode it. Yeah. Kenzie just looked at me. And hopefully we will get to experience Moana, the new little what is it called? Like a trail? Or
Journey
is
of
it
Water.
Journey of Water? Okay.
It's
Yeah,
like
you'll
a
have to
little
tell us.
walkthrough.
Yeah.
There you go. Walk through. It's weird that you had to get a virtual queue for that.
I think it's only for the soft openings because I don't think it's like officially. Has it officially opened yet, or is it just soft
I
opening
think
right now?
so. I think it opened on October 16th because that was Disney's 100th anniversary.
And notice how it made no noise. No one talking about it at all.
Listen,
Hey, what?
from what I've seen in the pictures, it looks very pretty,
It looks
especially at
pretty,
night.
but it's not true to the vision. And anyways, I'm not going to get into that, but I'm very excited that you're going to be hanging out with your mom, Taryn. Tell her we all said hi.
Yes, tell
I
mom we said
will.
hi. Hi, mom, if you're listening to this too.
So I just want to talk about last week's episode really fast because I wasn't able to make it, unfortunately, but I definitely have some comments. um, it was questioned why I put three Caballeros at number 6, and I don't know why you guys are surprised. I love this ride. Oh my gosh. I also am like totally okay if they change it soon, but this ride just makes me so happy. It's like a must do for me every single time I'm in Epcot and Mexico Pavilion. I love how it's inside the entire time, the queue's inside, and I love just being able to sing that song like Liz said. So that deserved my number 6 spot for me. And then I just wanted to say how happy I am that that stupid purple dragon got number 17 as he deserves. Honestly, if there was even a lower score, I would be so happy if he got even lower, even though it's not possible. But that's just how much I hate him. And I'm so glad that you guys agree with me.
Okay. A couple of comments on your comments. So I was not surprised that the Mexico boat ride was number 6 on yours. That was all Taryn. And I would like to put in as a side note, especially for my mother who's listening who loves Figment, I don't hate the purple dragon. I hate the ride. Thank you.
Yes.
I hate both. So sorry, Mrs. Gauze. I just cannot get behind him.
As stated in last week's episode, my uncle has started a travel agency, and this is my first full episode of using the mic that he sponsored. I am so excited to add this new level of quality to our podcast. And with that said, here is a word from our sponsor.
Introducing the magical world of Disney like you've never experienced it before. Are you dreaming of a fairy tale vacation filled with enchanting adventures and unforgettable memories? Look no further than Twinning Around the World, your trusted Disney travel expert. At Twinning Around the World, I specialize in turning your Disney dreams into reality. Whether you're planning a family getaway, a romantic escape, or a friend's adventure, I'm here to make it all happen seamlessly.
Why should you choose Twinning Around the World? Exclusive Disney insights. Jason lives and breathes Disney magic. He's also considered an expert in all things Disney. From park secrets to character meet and greets, he's got the inside scoop to make your trip truly extraordinary. Customize itineraries. Not a single Disney vacation is the same, and neither should your trip itinerary. Jason can tailor each vacation to your preferences and budget, ensuring every moment is pure pixie dust. Stress-free planning. Leave the details to him. He handles reservations, dining, and more, so you can focus on creating enchanting memories with your loved ones. Cost saving. He knows how to maximize your value while minimizing your costs in order to get the most out of your Disney experience without breaking the bank. Personalized service. Jason prides himself on providing top-notch, personalized service. You're not just a client to him, you're a cherished member of our Disney family.
Ready to embark on your Disney adventure? Contact us today at twinningaroundtheworld.com to start planning your dream vacation. Let's make your Disney dreams come true, one magical moment at a time.
This week in Disney news, Disney's 100th anniversary was Monday this week as we record, and they celebrated by debuting a new short film titled Once Upon a Studio on Sunday. I watched it on Sunday with my uncle and his fiance, and then I literally almost cried when Mickey was talking to Walt's portrait, and you could hear "Feed the Birds" in the background because that was Walt's favorite song. And I did a little more digging, and the Sherman brother, who is alive, actually went into the studio on a Friday when he would normally go in with Walt, and he played it on the piano in Walt's office. So I that part made me so emotional, and so, it was just so good. It was such a good short film.
Yeah, I love the short films like that they've done recently. It's very nostalgic, and Feed the Birds, it always makes me cry, and that just yeah, that was even more emotional in the short film, especially just, everything combined, talking to Walt, the portrait, how, he used to just want that play. They even showed that in like Saving Mr. Banks, how he would just ask the Sherman brothers to play for him. So it was super cute, and I'm really glad that they, gave that to us for the 100th birthday.
I agree. I love that part. Even though I didn't know really about Feed the Birds at the time that that Drew special connection. I just loved seeing all these underrated characters that we haven't seen, like Chicken Little, Treasure Planet, and Atlantis. Like we haven't seen any representation for those movies and characters for years, so it's really cool to see them. And I loved this little underrated moment where Olaf talks the genie, and the fact that it was like Robin Williams' last line. That was really special to see.
Walking droids have debuted at Galaxy's Edge. In an Instagram post by Disneyland News Today, these child sized walking robots can move their heads in all directions and even tilt. In the video, you can see that the robots are walking around and interacting with guests while being led by a cast member who is holding the sign saying droids in training. I think this is such a cool addition to the park, and it further enhances the story and accessibility of Galaxy's Edge. And I just really hope to see more of these little guys. They're so cute. I recommend everyone go check out this video and see them walking around.
I believe this edition is only in Disneyland at the moment, which definitely makes sense with the type of crowds that are in Disneyland versus Disney World. I do hope that hopefully we'll get to a point in Disney World where we can see them, or at least like, there's like a little area where they're walking around that's maybe behind a little fence, just so they don't get trampled by Disney World guests. But they're really cute and I love them and they're so clunky and I love little droids. I love their little personalities. Even in like TV shows, me and my dad just finished watching Ahsoka, and Chopper has become one of my favorite droids. He's so sassy and funny, and droids as a whole, they were some of my favorite characters in Star Wars. So I'm glad that they're getting added to the parks. And that's it for the Disney news of the week. Today's topic is this or that. So, in this discussion game, we will be forced to choose between two things, for example, Disney World and Disneyland. So, we're going to give our answers and then we're going to discuss why we chose what we did. Is everyone ready?
Let's
Yeah.
go.
Alrighty. So, I was going to start with Disney World or Disneyland, like our example, but only Taryn in this chat currently has gone to Disneyland that she remembers. And I believe that she'd probably choose Disneyland even though she lives and works at Disney World, unless I'm wrong on that.
Uh, this is hard because I do have that emotional, just like childhood, like going to Disneyland and stuff. But I also have made a lot of memories here, and I've worked at Disney World, so I don't know. This is so hard.
I would imagine
Uh,
it's hard to compare them because they're just two separate. They're just two completely different vibes. I mean, from what I've heard, but
yeah, yeah, they are. They are two completely separate vibes.
So I
So
I guess it's
I'd
good it's not
say,
an official question.
yeah, I'd say we put a pin in that, and let's just say it would be forward
We'll come back to it
when we
later.
all go to Disneyland.
Yeah, we'll come back to it later. Okay. First question. Magic Kingdom or Epcot?
I mean, not even a question for me. Epcot, absolutely.
I have to go with Epcot.
So Epcot's gonna take it from me too. I mean I love
Yeah.
Magic Kingdom. Let's not be wrong here. We all have appreciation for Magic Kingdom. I just think that for us, Magic King if we had to choose to spend one day in either of these parks and that's the only park we can go to on said trip, we'd go to Epcot.
Yeah, and I also think it depends on what type of day we were looking to have in the DCP. If we wanted to do a lot and like have a busy day, I'd say we probably would go to Magic Kingdom, just because there's more rides to ride there. But I think just the more, I don't know, I just feel like the most fun we had would be probably in Epcot. I mean,
I mean, we did have fun memories in every park, but yeah, there were a lot of chaotic moments at Epcot for sure.
Kenzie missed most of the chaos in Epcot when we got poured on, but that's a different time. Alrighty. Animal Kingdom or Hollywood Studios?
Hollywood Studios, Hollywood Studios, Hollywood Studios. Yes, I'm biased. I made magic in Hollywood Studios, but I prefer Hollywood Studios because they have Galaxy's Edge there and they have Toy Story Land there. And I also have a lot of memories going to MGM Studios as a kid, and doing the backlot tour, and lights camera action, the stunt show. I don't know. I think the Hollywood vibe of the Hollywood that never was and always will be. It's just so I don't even know. I love it.
I think this is no surprise. I would have to go Animal Kingdom. I have a Pandora tattoo. I love Pandora. I love seeing all the animals. I've loved seeing animals since I was a kid, and just the nature vibe, and just the fact that it has all of like my kind of movies in there. We got a Nemo musical, we got Lion King, the festival show, and it's just a nice, chill park to go and just explore and get lost in it. And I just love it.
We all know that Animal Kingdom is my favorite park. Um, it's basically just because it's a park that doesn't feel like a park. And when I was on the DCP, since I worked in the literal busiest park there, when I needed an escape and just to hang out and chill and maybe ride a few fun rides, but it didn't really matter, I'd go to Animal Kingdom because I just really like the vibes there and like there's so much more entertainment in Animal Kingdom I feel like too, and entertainment's like a big thing for me. like there's 2 stage shows, 3 if you count the bird one, but I am afraid of birds, so I don't ever go to that one. But they constantly have street performers too. Like in Africa, they have the acrobats that perform in the street, and at the front of the park there is a stage and there's constantly people on that stage too, like right behind the tree of life when you're trying starting to go into the 2 different countries. And I mean, I just Animal Kingdom just is so chill, and just being able to walk around and enjoy it instead of feeling rushed to do a bunch of stuff. That's why I enjoy Animal Kingdom more, especially when I was down there working and living there. I just needed some place to get away from crowds and the bustle of parks. Okay, Mickey pretzel or churro?
I'm gonna have to say the Mickey pretzel. I've heard the churros at Disneyland are much better than the ones at Disney World, and I'd love to put that to the test one day. But sadly, have not been to Disneyland yet, so gonna be Mickey pretzel for now.
I would have to also say Mickey pretzel. I actually have made Mickey puzzles, lots of Mickey puzzles and shows at my time, and it's a fun experience. But yeah, you can't go wrong with the Mickey pretzel, especially dipped in that little cheese sauce. Sometimes it's pretty good when you want a little snack around going around the parks.
So I'm actually not a fan of like the big soft pretzels. I never really have been. The only pretzel I really like is the sweet cream cheese filled one. That
Mm.
was at like the lunching pad when we were down there. It moves around sometimes, but I think it's still at lunching pad right now.
It's actually in the rock and roller coaster courtyard. Um, and me
They
and Matt,
sell very fast. But
yeah,
the last time me and Kenzie went to Hollywood Studios, she tried to get one, and she just couldn't, and I felt bad.
I think Maddie's my good luck charm because we would always go to Hollywood just to get those pretzels. So I think since she wasn't there, I wasn't able to get it. But next time, next time.
Yeah, see, they had them in the lunching pad while I was working in Tomorrowland. So every once in a while before my 15-minute break, I would go ahead and order ahead if I was in a position that would allow me to do that. And I would just go grab one and eat it on my break. But because I don't like pretzels, I'd have to go with churro. I I really like the Disney World churros, but you have to get them when they're fresh, or else it's
Hmm.
just not good. The biggest difference between the Disneyland and the Disney World churros is that the Disneyland ones, they actually like cook them in the cart that they have, whereas the Disney World one, they're pre-cooked and then they're sat underneath a heater, which is why they go stale so fast. So that's probably why people think they're better because it's literally the same churro. It's the same, you know, vendor that sells them to Disney. So, but I love churros, and as long as it's fresh, it's great. Another food one, Mickey Premium Ice Cream Bar or the Mickey Ice Cream Sandwich.
This I don't really feel too strongly of. I don't really get ice cream when I go to Disney World. But if I had to choose, I'd say the ice cream sandwich probably.
Well, this is a bit awkward, seen as if I don't eat sweets at all. So, I don't know. I guess the boy. It, when I saw them, they seem to hold up. I guess.
See, I don't know how to eat that type of ice cream. I have a video of Kenzie. She also doesn't know how to eat that type of ice cream. It just gets all over. It's so messy. I feel like the ice cream sandwich is less messy. It's easier to eat. It's easier to walk around with. I don't understand why Mickey Premium bars are so popular, to be honest, especially with children. Like, you're giving a child something that is just gonna melt into their hands super quickly, especially with the chocolate not being like a set cookie like the ice cream sandwiches. Like, I don't know. Ice cream sandwich all the way.
Yeah, that was very difficult. That was my I think that was my first ice cream bar I ever had, and yeah, I was basically like a child while eating that because it was all over my face, and now it's forever. It will forever be. Oh my gosh, you need to
In
cut
my heart
this.
and in my phone.
And it will forever be in my heart and in my phone, unfortunately.
Alrighty. This is kind of food related. I mean, merch or food?
Merch! Shout out to all my merch cast members. I love you guys. You guys are the best. I have the highest respect for all of Disney World merch. Um, yes, I worked in merch, as you can tell, but I think I have so many good memories of making magical moments for guests, giving out, Mickey ears and bubble wands to kids. I feel like I have um, just so many personal ties to merch that most people don't. But yeah, for me, that's why I love the merch.
See, I like merch and I like food, but most of the time I have a hard time buying either unless I want or need to. So I'm good with merch. I just like getting different cool things. Like I got this Lion King little painting for my birthday and the Disney 100th coloring book with different cartoons. So there's definitely some really cool stuff that you can get, and you can always like bring it home to like hang up or like do stuff with food. I feel like it's an experience, but you can only have it once. It just goes in your stomach and then in your mind, like Kenzie's ice cream bar.
See,
Really, Taryn?
I have to agree. I would say merch, and that's only because with Disney food, I don't think there's anything maybe besides like Dole Whip, but you can get Dole Whip other places too that I'm like, well, when I go to Disney, I have to have this. There's not anything that is really like food-wise where I would super miss not being able to get it. Whereas merch, there's new things coming out all the time, and I don't think I could go without buying any new Disney merch. I mean, I already have so much. Most of my wardrobe is Disney shirts and sweatshirts at this point. And so I also have like a Loungefly, and also I have a Ursula Coach purse, and that's technically Disney merch. So, I mean, I don't think I could go without out buying the merch. Now we're on to some festivals heading up against each other. The Flower and Garden Festival or the Food and Wine Festival.
This one is kind of difficult for me because these are actually the only two festivals I've been to. I've not had the privilege to go to Disney World outside of the months March through August. So I've not been able to do the Festival of Arts. So both of these festivals are really special to me. But I would probably have to say Food and Wine. I just love um, going around the World Showcase and trying the different food carts that aren't there the rest of the year, like India and Ireland. And there's also Brazil. I just think it's really cool to be able to try those things that aren't normally there, like the rest of the pavilions.
See, I love Flower and Garden. It was the first festival that we ever came to at Disney World with my family, and it's just been really cool to see all the little topiaries and how they change and stuff, and especially seeing, I'm gonna pronounce this wrong, the Madrigal family. Help me out here.
Yeah, it's
I
the
can't
Familia Madrigal.
Madrigal. Okay, so I did pronounce it right. Outstanding. Um, but it's cool to see them this year, and I just love the whole vibe of it, especially with the festival booths. I will say though, Festival of the Arts, or FARTS as cast members like to call it, It's kind of underrated for me. I just love seeing all the cool art pieces that people do and seeing what artists are making and stuff. That's a pretty fun festival as well.
See, if I put Festival of the Arts on here, that would have won for me. But if it's between Flower and Garden and Food and Wine, I pick Food and Wine. And it's because it's the one time where the food is really super diverse and you're not just getting like Americanized versions of Mexican food or Chinese food or Japanese food or things like that. It's actual like true to country food, and there's also just like really fun foods that come out of it. So I just like walking around and snacking and drinking and having a good time. I love Flower and Garden. It's beautiful. I have so many pictures on my phone from when we were there for DCP, but Food and Wine definitely wins for me.
Also, it's noteworthy that each different festival has a specific icon that represents it. And Orange Bird is Flower and Garden, Remy is Food and Wine, and the Purple Dragon is Festival of Arts. I won't even say his name, but I love Remy, so maybe that has something to do with it too.
Figment, Figment, Figment. Is it like Beetlejuice and he'll appear or something?
No, no, please don't.
Alrighty. Here's a little bit of a tougher one. Disney Animation or Pixar?
Yeah, this one is extremely tough because I feel like I grew up more with Disney animation, like the classics, like Cinderella, Peter Pan, Beauty and the Beast. But if I'm thinking now, I would have to say lately I've gravitated more towards Pixar. Coco is literally one of my favorite movies ever, and that is by Pixar. And I just feel like they have that recipe, they have that secret sauce, they know what they're doing, and it makes you cry every single time. I'm not saying it has to be a good movie if it makes you cry, but I digress. Basically, I just feel like Pixar, they they have that recipe, and I will be at that table every single time.
This is this is so hard because I I don't know what I really grew up with really. I remember dressing up as Cinderella for Halloween once, but my parents have also told me that I've watched Nemo so many times that the DVD broke. So I guess I've had a little bit of both. So that doesn't help me. And I guess it, I mean, at least for right now, it would have to be Disney animation. I just gravitated towards like listening to The Lion King, seeing Moana, and Frozen 2. That those are just some of my favorite movies with characters I really love. So it would have to be Disney animation.
So, growing up in a Disney family, I watched both Disney Animation and Pixar a lot. And so this one's actually really, really hard for me. I forgot to think about this one before the episode, so now I'm just kind of uh thinking right now. So you're hearing all of my thoughts right now. But I think I'd have to pick Disney Animation. I feel like both studios have hit a point right now in modern times right now where neither has produced something within the past couple of years that I've really gravitated towards, but Disney Animation holds more of my favorite movies. Like I love Atlantis. It's my favorite movie. And like Little Mermaid, all of the classics, the Sleeping Beauty. The only Pixar movie that I've really become obsessed with, well, there's two. It would be Coco and Monsters Inc., but Monsters Inc. was probably only because I worked their attraction and it just became my personality. So I think I'd
Toy
go with
Story?
wasn't the like I like Toy Story. I'm not the
Finding
biggest fan.
Nemo? You love Finding Nemo.
I love Finding Nemo the musical.
Oh my gosh. No, I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, I
What
feel like
you're saying
both
is that.
studios have not really done anything super great in the past couple of years. Um, I mean, I liked Lightyear, but it's not the greatest movie, and I haven't even seen Strange World because it doesn't call to me or excite me that much. So if I'm going back and thinking about what I enjoy more, like rewatching, it's the Disney animated classics, so it would have to be Disney animation. Alrighty, staying in the movie theme, Disney Channel original movies or Disney live action.
This one, uh, I feel like there's like either some really good ones in both, and then the rest are just eh. But if I had to choose one, it would probably be Disney Channel original movies because we grew up in that time of like the golden age of Disney Channel original movies. You've got Lizzie McGuire, um, High School Musical. Um, I can't think of any right now, but
Halloween
there
Town.
Halloween Town, yeah. But after like 2014, obviously they just like fell off. I'd probably say the last Disney Channel original movie that I actually like remember liking and watching was probably like Cloud Nine. I could not tell you anything else after that. But yeah, that golden age was just so you just had to be there. It was so nostalgic. My sister's eighth birthday party was High School Musical themed. My mom got all decked out with like a red carpet and like everything, and I just remember that so vividly. It's like a core memory for me. So, yeah, that was a long-winded answer of saying Disney Channel original movie, but that's what I'm going with.
So I would also have to go with Disney Channel original movies. There's just so many good memories of watching the premieres of the High School Musical and seeing the third movie in theaters and just wanting to be Hannah Montana secretly. I don't know anyone else that didn't want to. And there are also some underrated movies in there. We got Lemonade Mouth, we got Teen Beach Movie. Those are some good movies, and I have fond memories with both of those, especially Teen Beach Movie.
Yeah, so this one was a little more difficult for me because the Disney live actions include some of my favorites like Mary Poppins and I love the Pirates of the Caribbean movies too. So that's what is included in there, but I think I would have to go with DCOM movies just because I love them. I mean like Halloween Town and Twitches and oh my gosh, what's the vampire movie? Oh, what's it
Me?
called? The Little Vampire. Does anybody remember The Little Vampire? I loved that movie.
No.
So, I think my core memory from that movie is where they drink like they go to a cow barn and they drink the cow's blood and the cows all become vampire cows and they all fly.
What?
Anyway, it's so funny. You guys have to watch it. But I
What
mean,
are you talking about?
but DCOM has given us so many like good seasonal movies, like Halloween movies, like that for children. They were on top of their game for that. But then also, you get the High School Musical and the Lemonade Mouth. I mean, I listen to Lemonade Mouth still when I need to like party. I I listen to Lemonade Mouth still. So I think DCOM definitely for
Oh my
me.
gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
What?
What was that one? Oh my gosh. This was like my favorite movie for years. What is the one where they were like astronauts and they went in like the black hole?
What?
We're just staring at
Speed.
Kenzie right now.
PJ from Good Luck Charlie was in it. Oh my gosh, I love that movie so much.
Wow,
Anyway,
Kenzie is
Okay.
Googling
Now you're
that.
gonna make me Google. How are you gonna make me Google it, man?
Oh my gosh, another vampire one was My Mom's Dating a Vampire. There was
Is
that
that
one
a
too.
decom movie though?
I'm relatively sure it was. I'm relatively sure that there was the little vampire and my mom is dating a vampire and they were both
Rocket
decom.
Man. Sorry,
Oh, Minutemen? There was Minutemen too.
Minutemen.
Yeah. They
Minutemen.
were
Oh
time
wait,
traveling.
Sky High.
Oh, Sky High, exactly. Like
Oh,
decom movies when we were kids, like when we were actively watching Disney Channel, they were the best. So that's why I have to choose decom.
Luck of the Irish. These are
Luckily,
all coming back
Irish.
now. Oh my gosh, they're so good.
Okay, staying on the movie theme, Marvel or Star Wars?
As a huge fan of both, uh, I will have to go with Star Wars. I got into Star Wars first. I remember the day vividly. The summer before seventh grade, I put on a VHS tape of The Phantom Menace, and the rest is history. Um, but I also love Marvel, but this phase four, I don't know what's happening and I don't want to know what's happening. After Endgame, it kind of just went downhill. I feel like they um, lost their way. Um, I still love the movies, of course, but honestly, I'm becoming more of a DC girly as of late. But sorry, I'm getting off. Star Wars. Yes, we're going to Star Wars is what I like right now. I'm sorry. I love the shows that they've come out with. Obviously, Mandalorian, Ahsoka, they are just hit after hit, and I just think that Star Wars is doing great right now.
So, listen, I like Star Wars. I loved playing lightsabers with my siblings when we were kids. And I like the concept. I like going on Star tours. I like walking around Galaxy's Edge for sure. But for me, I gotta say Marvel, even though Phase 4 is not. Phase 4 is a little shaky right now. I hope
Little
that the new season of Loki will. What?
nothing.
Uh huh.
Continue.
Okay.
Yeah,
What?
yeah, the season 2 of Loki might be able to save it. Maybe a little.
Okay, listen, I'm not gonna sit here and say that, like, it's the greatest thing ever, but, like, we got WandaVision.
You
I
know
just
what? We
think
got
that
WandaVision.
I just feel like the Marvel movies are relying too much on if you watch the Marvel shows or not. And that's where I think that you get lost a little bit because if you're not super into Disney Plus and the Disney Plus Marvel shows, I think it can kind of get confusing if you just want to watch the Marvel movies. Whereas before, you could follow along with the movies and obviously know what's going on. That's just my personal opinion on that. So it if it if we're basing it on if you like watch the shows, I think that it helps it a little bit in that regard.
Mhm. Yeah, I get that. That's definitely a good critique. But I do have memories of watching all the Marvel movies with my family. I think it was kind of recent, but I think my family and I we watched all the Marvel movies in chronological like timeline order, which was pretty fun to see because I remember watching the first Iron Man movie when I was a little kid. So there's just some good old memories in the Marvel fandom.
Kenzie and I were watching the Marvel movies in chronological order during our DCP. Um, we did that most nights after work. We would at least watch a little bit of it and then call it a night, and we'd come back to it the next day. But I'm very much more of a Star Wars fan. There's several reasons. I I grew up watching Star Wars with my dad, and I mean we watched Marvel movies too, but I felt more of a connection to Star Wars because Star Wars has always had stronger female characters for me to look up to as well. Whereas the only strong female character in Marvel up until recently was Black Widow. And even now, with Marvel introducing stronger female characters, Star Wars is just doing it better. And and with the Star Wars universe expanding a little bit, it's not becoming confusing still like Marvel is. With Star Wars, if you're watching the shows, you already should have a base understanding of Star Wars, but you don't really have to. My dad hasn't seen Clone Wars or Rebels, and he still liked Ahsoka. He didn't need all of the backstory. I gave him like a slight backstory, like here's who the gang was, this is why they're going to find this guy, but that was basically it. That's all he got. And he still enjoyed it. And with like Mando and Boba Fett, like you have to have a little bit of understanding about the character, but not really. And it's just expanding on a timeline they already have instead of moving to new timelines and new like stories essentially like Marvel is, but then Marvel's just depending entirely on Disney Plus shows. So I mean, I love Star Wars. I love all of the like strong female characters in it. I've always loved Leia, and I honestly loved the introduction of Rey. Like not a lot of people liked her, but I liked her. I thought she was a strong female character, and like now that we're getting more Ahsoka and more Sabine, like and even her name is escaping me, but the pilot in general from Ahsoka as well. She's also very strong, and she's a mom, and that I think that's really cool. So Star Wars is great, and women are cool, and they should have strong roles. This one may or may not be difficult for some people. Great Big Beautiful Tomorrow or the Tiki Room theme song.
I am not some people. I feel very strongly about this song, and that is Great Big Beautiful Tomorrow. My family, we've never done Tiki Room ever. We were never that family. So I do not have a connection to Tiki Room at all. I find it actually a little annoying. But then again, I don't have that emotional connection to it. So I would definitely have to say Great Big Beautiful Tomorrow.
I like both. I like that Great Big Beautiful Tomorrow was like one of the last like original things that Walt had. I correct me if I'm wrong. He had a hand in making, and it's at Disney World. But I like the Tiki Room song. It might be catch. It might be annoying, but like just the whole show. I've done it I think once or twice, but I just like the whole tropical vibe, and Walt had a hand in that too, and I just like seeing all the little birds just sing and dance. It's a cute show.
And hearing their beaks click together consistently. Uh, I mean everybody knows my answer is Great Big Beautiful Tomorrow. But to be fair, I worked there and I've always loved that song. It was actually the on my high school grad cap. I had There's a Great Big Beautiful Tomorrow on my grad cap. So I manifested my life a little bit with that one. Um but to give props to the Tiki Room theme song, if you take the attraction out of it and the clicking beaks, it is very fun, and I really do like it. I was also I went to Disney in the era of the Tiki Room under new management, and let me tell you, when I got older and I realized, yeah, that was not a fever dream, and we did have Iago and Zazu in the Tiki Room, that was so funny. It like watching videos of it now, I'm like, That they actually did that until it caught on fire. And they had to just change it back to the original. But I love both songs, but Great Big Beautiful Tomorrow just has a special place in my heart. Okay, staying in Magic Kingdom, Adventureland or Frontierland?
This is extremely difficult for me. These are my favorite two lands in Magic Kingdom. And I would have said Frontierland probably if you would have asked me last year, but um with the removal of Splash Mountain, I'd probably say Adventureland just beats it out a little bit. Because Thunder Mountain, as much as I love her, she cannot hold that whole land up on her own. Because you've got Jungle Cruise, you've got Pirates Caribbean, you've got Skipper's Canteen. Like Adventureland is just has it going all right now.
You're
But
missing Country
I'm
Bear
excited for.
Jamboree.
I'm good. I'm good without. So sorry. Big Al, I think that's his name. I sound like such a fake fan. But that was just another thing that we like did not do as a family.
You just didn't do
um
the animatronic shows.
I don't know. The birds freaked me out. The bears freaked me out. I remember the one that hangs from the ceiling on a swing.
Teddy
But other than
Bear.
that, I could not tell you a thing that goes on in that show. But yeah, I just feel like Adventureland, if you were to ask me, like, you are going to Magic Kingdom and you only have time for one land, I'd be like, okay, let's go to Adventureland, you know?
This is also pretty difficult as well because I love the Adventureland vibes. I love just it's sort of the same vibe as like going to Animal Kingdom. You just get to like explore. It's a little more chaotic, just being at with the crowd levels, but I just love the whole vibe with the palm trees, and you just get to have your own little adventure. And there's also the Sports Robinson's house, or if you go to Disneyland, they, well, they used to. They had the Tarzan tree house over there, but mm, I, I, this is hard because Frontierland and Disneyland is good too. I mean, at least right now it's gonna be Adventureland. There's just more to explore. Even though Big Thunder is one of my favorite rides, there's just a lot more to explore over there. And like I said, I love the vibes and just exploring around.
I think we'll have to revisit this question once Tiana gets finished. Because I also say Adventureland. Now, the only thing that I would do to Adventureland is take out that stupid magic carpet spinner that takes up way too much room in the middle of a place where
How
you could have
dare
so
you?
much other things. It takes up so much room in such a small portion of Magic Kingdom. Move it to Fantasyland. Go make an Agrabah section in Fantasyland.
I
I'm
cannot
not
believe you, right?
I'm not dishing on the spinners, I'm dishing on the placement of them. It's a horrible place
Okay.
for them. It makes it so small. The walkways are so small and you can't do anything. But I love Adventureland because there's pirates and Jungle Cruise is one of my favorite rides. Um I love dad jokes, so it's so good for me. But and plus you can get Dole Whip. And there's a tiki room.
I was
Aw.
about to say, if you were to diss on my magic carpets,
No, I'm not dissing on the magic carpets. I'm dissing on where they chose to put them. Give them
okay,
to
good, good.
Morocco. Give them to Morocco. Put them back in Morocco. Nobody ever goes back there.
Ew. Hey, you know.
I do.
all the all the
You.
all the people whose favorite pavilion in Morocco is Morocco right now hates you right now.
That's okay.
That was not English. I'm so sorry. Uh,
I understood it enough.
Okay, next question.
Okay. Castle or Epcot ball?
Everyone knows my answer on this. I don't even need to say it.
Yeah, to the listeners who don't know, it's Epcot ball for Kenzie. Taryn, your answer, please.
I thought she was gonna give an explanation. Um,
I mean, I can. I mean, what is there to explain though?
She's the prettiest
She's
girl in
perfect.
school.
In every way, she's magical and she's perfect. And I also love how she is nowhere else in the world. There's only one Epcot ball. And I mean, it just goes back to how I love Epcot. It's my favorite park. It got me into my major. It got me into my passion of city and urban planning. I think she represents that for me. That's the more like emotional side, but also she's just gorgeous.
I mean, I do have to say, uh, I do have to say the Epcot ball, even though I love the castles that I've seen. She's really pretty at night, just all lit up and like with all the different lights, and she's a ride. So like no other icon except Disneyland. If you there's like a little walk through Sleeping Beauty, but that's not a ride. There's an actual ride for the icon. That's like so different and so cool.
This one was actually a little more difficult for me because when I think of Disney, I think of the castle, and she is gorgeous in any iteration, even the 25th anniversary cake version. And I will die on that hill. But I get, I think, more excited when I see the Epcot ball, because I like Epcot a little more than Magic Kingdom. And like Taryn said, it's a ride. So I think there's only walkthroughs, and then one of the international parks has like a ride that goes underneath the castle, like a little boat ride, but that's about it. So, I mean, if we were talking about like Disneyland Paris castle, maybe, maybe it would be castle, but I haven't seen that one yet. So, it's gonna be Epcot ball for now. We'll update when I go to Paris. Okay, the living seas or the land at Epcot?
The land, for me, um, I absolutely adore Soren. And I love living with the land. I love what is it called? The educational entertainment thing where
Educate,
Edutainment.
educate, man. There we go.
Taryn, don't answer the question. It's edutainment.
I love edutainment, and I just think the land um is like the poster child for edutainment personally. And I think that it's beautiful in there. It's AC. I love the little not tapestry, but like those little the decor in the building. I don't know what they're called, but I get really happy when I'm there. I even love the show with Pumbaa and Simone.
they they
Or
Simone. Also, they got rid of that. It's now a different one. It's called like Awesome Planet
wait.
now. But
Hold on.
yeah, Timon and Pumbaa used to
Yeah,
do it.
Simone. Why did I say Simone?
Raven, Simone, and Pumbaa.
Simone
The
Biles is now the
the,
I'm
the
so
greatest
sorry, guys.
the
I don't know
greatest
what I'm saying.
the greatest matchup of all time.
Oh my God. But yeah, I think I even remember the show before the Timon and Pumbaa one. Um, I said it right that time,
I'm so proud of you.
right? And I just think it's really important, especially as the climate crisis is getting more of a crisis that we have that show. And yeah, I've never eaten at Seasons, but it looks cool. I've never eaten at Garden Grill, but it looks cool. I love watching Chip and Dale, obviously,
I've gotten the
walk
dessert
around in
at
their little
Seasons.
overalls.
Yeah, I've got the dessert at Seasons, and it's actually pretty good. Like they always
Well,
have like fun little
okay.
things.
Yeah, but yeah, it's gonna have to be the land for me. Um, yeah, Taryn, on to you.
See, this is a little bit difficult because the land has one of my favorite rides, and that is Soarin'. And I have a ton of memories of going on the Nemo ride and seeing all the little animals. So,
Aquatic life.
aquatic life, yes. Uh, I mean, I guess I can go to living with the seas, even though I love the land and I love going on both on living with the land and showing. I just there's a much calmer vibe, and I can just be at the aquarium all day watching the little fish and turtles go by.
See, I don't think anybody realizes how difficult this one is for me because the land does have Soarin' and Living with the Land, which are two very top tier rides for me. Um, but I love the aquarium and I love specifically the manatees and how they eat their little romaine lettuce. Ugh, and we won't talk about it right now because I think we're gonna save it for our DCP episode. But Taryn and I had a very magical moment in the seas, and so it's such a difficult choice for me. I think I'd have to go with the land though, just because if like I'm thinking in my brain, if I could only do one of these for the rest of my life, I would want to go to the land because I could not live without living with the land. Soarin' is whatever at this moment because Soarin' around the world is not my favorite. Um, if they put Soarin' over California back, then we could talk. But Soarin' around the world, not my favorite. But I could not lose living with the land.
Oh,
Mackenzie
Me
got
and
see,
really
Taryn,
offended.
me and Taryn's faces.
see,
Okay,
I
to
thought you were all
explain.
agreeing for the other point. I thought you said Soaring Over the World was your favorite. And I was like,
No,
what are you talking about?
no, get rid of it. Put California back.
Yeah, when you explained it, I understood. I understood. At first, I was very offended that you would say that about my girl Soren, but I also prefer Soren over California.
Yeah, like if I had to lose like Soarin' in its current iteration, I'd be relatively okay. But
But its current iteration is California.
you know what I mean, Taryn. They're doing that as a special
I'm
event right now.
sorry.
Okay, let's move on. Okay, we're getting into our fireworks spectaculars here. Wishes or happily ever after? I think we're all gonna have the same answer, but maybe I'll be surprised.
Um, obviously, wishes. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Obviously, happily ever after, guys. Come on. Um, yeah, I mean, what is there to say that hasn't been said? And she's perfect. She's gorgeous. She makes me cry. Um, we got to experience it during our iridescent evenings a little bit before, or at least the song, before it came back, which was really special because we didn't know if it was coming back at that point. And then, but I still think Wishes deserves some love. I loved Wishes. I specifically remember the Maleficent and villain scene, loving that. Um, and I feel like Happily Ever After doesn't have too much of a villain's highlight. It has a little bit, but I remember Wishes specifically being a little more balanced, if I remember correctly. So I will give her props to that. But I mean, Happily Ever After, I mean, it's just one of the best shows they've ever. I mean, it is the best show they've ever created, I think.
I do have to agree. Happily Ever After is the best. It's the first show that I saw at Disney World, and I always had that special connection and place in my heart. I loved the Mufasa scene where he just says, "Remember who you are" before the grand finale. That's such a cool moment for me. It's just so cool, like Kenzie said, that we got to see or at least hear the song Happily Ever After play at the Iridescent Nights when we didn't know at the time it was coming back. That was pretty special.
So, fun fact, I have never seen Happily Ever After in person. I have been there when Happily Ever After has been going. Um, but the time that I was there when Happily Ever After was playing, I had a fever and I could not go see it. My best friend from high school was on a trip with us with my family and she FaceTimed me and let me watch the show that way. As I was dying in my hotel room from a 24-hour fever that I got randomly. Um but I have watched Happily Ever After on YouTube so many times. My friend in college, shout out Veronica if she's listening. She did her DCP when Happily Ever After was still going. And so she had a really big connection to it. So sometimes when I would go over to her apartment in college, we would just sit there and watch it. And I mean, I've gone to Disney since I was a child, so I did see Wishes and I loved Wishes, but Happily Ever After, the soundtrack, and from what I've seen on YouTube, it's just a better show. And the Hercules Go the Distance part always gets me. That's when I start crying. I always cry at that part. Even if I'm just watching it on YouTube. Always gets me. So I'm so excited to see Happily Ever After. Keeping with the fireworks theme, Illuminations or Harmonious?
This one is pretty difficult. I mean, it I don't know. I just love both of these shows a lot. Having had Illuminations growing up, going to Disney World since I was little, um, it's been around forever. So this one was just a very like a constant. It was comfortable. I loved it so much. I loved the narration of um and I don't know. I but obviously Harmonious was just oh my gosh. Like we talked about it in the first episode. Like I literally would go to Epcot after I got off work just to see this and then I would leave because I loved this show so much. I think it's so cool how they really embraced the diversity of Disney characters. I feel like they always have, but this was just exemplified. I don't know how you guys feel, but I felt like they truly came into their own with that, having taken the time for each country. And they even gave my girl Merida a part. She never gets anything. So that I love that show so much. I think it was beautiful. It was gorgeous. I I always was dancing. I think my favorite part was the Africa part, the da 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 da. That part. So I think
You
that
know that one?
you could see dancing, huh?
You know that one part that goes and
I hate you.
doesn't even sing it right either. It's
You know what? I'm on the spot with this, okay? But you all know what I mean.
Oh, I know what you mean.
Um, so yeah, I mean, Harmonious is gonna take the cake for me.
So I've only seen I haven't seen the full Illumination show, and I had a good view from like my resort stay there of the fireworks, and it was cool to see like the torches be lit up. But because I've like heard the music and I've seen like the show a little bit more, would have to go with Harmonious.
I am a big fan of Illuminations, and I was honestly one of those people where I was sad to see it go, even though it was there for so long, and I know we need to keep moving forward. But I was sad to lose our little globe that lit on fire. But with that said, Harmonious definitely wins in my heart. It's so good. The emotional connection because it was there on our DCP, and the music is just so brilliant. And being able to hear Disney songs that we all recognize, but in the native language of where that story is based is also really cool. And I think it's great for kids too because it really shows the connection between all of these movies they love and the world around us and how we're all connected. So I definitely like Harmonious a lot more, but I was sad to see Illuminations go. Staying in Epcot, so the Mexico Pavilion or the Canada Pavilion.
I love both pavilions so much. Canada is actually my dad's favorite pavilion besides Norway. And I feel like I love going through the Canada pavilion. But Mexico, I mean, there's just no one like Mexico. I mean, it's gorgeous, outside and inside. I love how they put the thought into having it be set at nighttime because most of um people in Mexico, like in their culture, they would go out at nighttime to socialize. And so just having that extra detail into that pavilion of having it inside set at night all the time, it really it really had the details there that I think some of the pavilions might otherwise lack. Not saying that they aren't great. I just feel like the Mexico one, they put a little extra love into her, especially because of the boat ride. I love the Three Cabular boat ride. So yes.
I really love that song. What's the title? Ode to Mexican Pavilion in Epcot.
Can you tell I'm tired?
This is probably the latest we've recorded, so I apologize to all the listeners who are now hearing us really unfiltered. um, Taryn, Mexico or Canada?
Yeah, it would have to be Mexico. I just love, like Kenzie said, it's just beautiful on the inside and outside. And they just have some really good food there. And I love all the, like, not shops, but like, they're not vendors either, but you know what I mean. Like the little carts in there, they're like, you can get some cool merch and just the little ride too. It's really cute.
Yeah, I love the Mexico Pavilion as well. I mean, Canada's beautiful and like the waterfall's great. I just wish it had more. And everything that Canada lacks, Mexico has. They have a really fun attraction and the theming's great and every inch of that pavilion has something interesting in it, whereas Canada, there's like a bunch of empty buildings. Like if you walk up there, there's just like a bunch of empty buildings. So they need to utilize that space better in Canada before it can become like a really great pavilion, but Mexico for sure. Halloween or Christmas in the parks.
I unfortunately have never been able to go during either. I know, so sad. It's just never was never in the cards for me. So I can't really have an opinion. I've never experienced either of them. Um, but I've always wanted to go during Halloween because my birthday's in October. And I feel like that would be really special, but maybe one day.
I love Christmas time, and that's my favorite season. And I've had the privilege of seeing the snowfall down on Main Street on both coasts, so it would have to be Christmas. There's just a little like special magic and joy in the year when you're at Disney and just going around and just seeing all the characters and like their Christmas costumes and the parades and stuff. It's really cool.
For me, I have gone both during Halloween and Christmas in 2012 or 13, something like that. We went for Halloween and then we actually went to Mickey's Not So Scary and we dressed up as the Peter Pan gang. My whole family, there was like 14 of us. And I've been during Christmas a couple times. One of the times was when we took my best friend from high school again. Um, one thing I really miss is the Osborne family lights in Hollywood Studios in the streets of America, but I still love Christmas. I think I just love Christmas as a holiday more than Halloween. Um, really, Halloween for me is like a precursor to Dia de los Muertos because I celebrate that more as an adult than I do Halloween. But Christmas, it's just beautiful down there, and the snow, I love it. Roller coaster type attractions or dark rides?
This one's this one's pretty difficult. I feel like all of my favorite rides are roller coaster, like Guardians and Big Thunder, but so many of the classics like Pirates are dark rides. I don't know. I just feel like you can't get really dark rides anywhere else but Disney World, like a true dark ride. Because, other theme parks, they their dark rides are just not as well executed as Disney's are. But you can get some pretty good roller coasters in other parks. So if we're looking at it that way, I just feel like dark rides are the way to go just because you cannot get themed immersive dark rides anywhere else besides Disney.
See, I like dark rides. Obviously, I love Mickey and Minnie's just because I've looked there and just my connection with that. And I love Nemo too, but honestly, I'm gonna have to give it to like roller coasters or the other type of rides. They're just so much fun. There's so much around them, like especially at like Guardians when actually I don't want to say anything for those listeners who haven't been on, but like it's cool. It's cool that it changes every time, and even to those coasters that don't change, there's always some good Disney staples like the goat at the Big Thunder Mountain or just Space Mountain, just zipping around. It's just always a fun time.
See, I love both. And Disney roller coasters are the only type of roller coasters that I ride. I'm a big wuss. I do not like bigger roller coasters than Disney roller coasters. Um, but I agree with Kenzie, you can't get a good dark ride anywhere else. I can find other kiddie coasters to ride. But I mean, most of my favorite rides are dark rides. When I think of going to Disney and riding the rides is usually a dark ride. Now, this is kind of a debate for within the dark rides, Omnimover or boat.
Um, I am gonna have to go boat ride. Um, so sorry, Jessica. I know you hate. She's not even here, but I'm just sorry. Because she hates boat rides. But that smell, guys. The smell. It's just. Yeah, your butt gets wet. Yeah, you might get splashed a little, but it's worth it. The smell is so fun, and I don't know. There's nothing just like going through a ride on a boat. I don't know. I do love omni movers, but if I had to choose one, it would be boat rides.
To be fair to Jessica, she does have submechnophobia. So she just doesn't like the thought of man-made items in water, which includes the track that the boat follows. She likes boat rides, but if she can't get the thought of like the track under the water out of her head, sometimes she just gets the ick from it, essentially.
I feel for her. I feel for her.
So this is a little bit of an interesting question because when I think of on a mover, I think of the people mover, which I don't even know if that's correct, but I do love the people mover. But I do have to say, boat rides are pretty fun, and like Kenzie said, the smells on each of them are great. And it's just a calm and relaxing experience, just going around and seeing whatever sights on the boat ride are there.
So, I also like the boat rides more. Smell is a big thing, but also like pirates and living with the land. Those are two biggies for me. Those are two like have to do every single time I'm in the park. So, I I choose boat rides. And also water smell is great. I don't care what anybody else says. I would burn a candle of that in my house.
Who says it's bad? I feel like everyone unanimously agrees that the pirate smell is like the best smell ever.
I feel like it's the people who have the nostalgia for the water smell that like it. There are some people who really do not, and I don't know why. Okay,
Smells so good.
it does. I love it. Okay, last question. Quick service or sit down restaurant?
I really think it just depends on which type of day you're having at the park. Sometimes you don't have enough time to sit down at a restaurant, and getting reservations is extremely difficult. You have to get reservations for sit down restaurants months in advance to like truly, you know, get the specific day and place you want in order to work your day around it. Um so but they are, really nice when you can get it. It's just getting it is the issue. So quick service, I really enjoy because of the mobile app. I, can place it on the other side of the park and then walk, to the place I'm getting, food at. Like say, you quick service order Casey's and you're in Fantasyland, it will be like, okay, like we'll let you know when it's going to be ready, and so you don't feel rushed or anything. I feel like people have that misconception because a couple years ago, before COVID, they hadn't really nailed down that mobile service uh, app place in the app yet, and so I feel like quick service kind of made them feel uneasy. But with the app, I just feel so much less stress with quick service. I feel it's super user friendly, and, I don't have to worry about getting those reservations, making sure everything with my day isn't, shifted or messed up. So quick service is very nice for, having more options throughout your day. But I do think sit down is nice when you can get it for sure.
See, I don't think I've really been in a sit down restaurant at Disney unless it's been at like downtown Disney. So I gonna have to go with quick service. It's just when I think about going to the parks, I don't normally think of like sitting down for a meal unless it's a real special occasion because it just messes up your day because it's so long of an experience that like you may not go on the rides or attractions or stuff that you want to do. So I'm gonna have to say quick service.
I am not a big meal girly. I like snacking, so quick service is ideal for me because I can have as much or as little as I want, really, because there's always going to be that more snack-like option. I can always order off the kids' menu for a quick service. Nobody judges me. If I just want a little cup of mac and cheese, they'll give me the little cup of mac and cheese. Plus, I feel like I'm more impressed with the food at quick service restaurants than I am at most sit downs in Walt Disney World. Like, a lot of the sit downs are very subpar for me within the parks. Disney Springs is a whole different ballpark, but within the parks, there hasn't really been a restaurant that I've been to where it's like, ooh, this is my favorite. I need to come here again when I come down. The only one that maybe has come close to that is Via Napoli in Italy. But that's about it. I mean, I even be our guest, like the vibes inside are amazing, but the food was subpar when I went. I think they changed their menu since then, so maybe I have to try it, but quick service for me.
And with Be Our Guest, it's also not, and a lot of sit downs, it's also not worth the price for the subpar food, in my opinion.
No, I definitely agree for that. Like you're paying for the experience of the theming around you, but the food isn't that great. I don't want to spend that much money on food. I'd rather go to Casey's Corner and get corn dog nugs.
Agree with you there. Now I'm craving them. So
Sorry.
thank you.
Alrighty, I want to thank Kenzie and Taryn for recording this episode with me and for all of you out there listening. With that said, that is all for this episode, my friends. Make sure you follow us on Instagram at Kingdom Keepers Pod to stay up to date on announcements and future episodes. To participate in our episodes, you can comment on our social media and send us emails to kingdomkeeperspod@gmail.com. We will see you all next time. Bye!
Bye bye.
Bye.